Welcome to my speech. Anybody was networking yesterday? Had some extra networking liquor? I did. Anyway, so today I'm gonna talk about a brand new game with music, and it's great to have such a great speech before me. And I'm a founder of AirTunes, and I've worked since 2003 professionally from music and audio design, but nowadays I do mostly music and produce sounds. So there's some highlights of my career. Most of you might know some games from there, like Angry Birds, and the newest ones are Next Machina and Matterfall. I just crunched them like before this summer. Next Machina is still, I think, the best reviewed Finnish game ever made. And I think it's like the second best PS4 game made this year. It has Metacritic 88, it's this arcade game. I really should recommend you to check that out. Soundtrack is from Spotify, even Matterfall is soundtrack is on Spotify. Good stuff, synthwave. And of course, people know me from Trine series. It's really close to my heart, the series overall. And I really like to do different kind of genres, like there's different kind of music in these games, and from very classic to Angry Birds. I think Angry Birds is its own genre. Anyway, so I'm sure from the last lecture there should be like some great points why music is so important, but it's the greatest emotional support for the game, of course, and it creates the connection for the player, not only during the gameplay, but after the game. Like, you probably remember a lot of games from your youth when you played the game, and now you probably go to see the music concerts to listen to favorite songs from your youth, like Final Fantasy series, and my favorites are Turrican series, Chris Hulsbeck, very nice. And one guy that really inspired me was like Mark Morgan, did the original Fallout series that actually inspired me also to do sound design. But the music is so important for the game, it's hard to say. And it's also like, if you think about Angry Birds, like they used it everywhere. They used the main theme even in their own Rovio logo. So, and Rovio made lots of different versions from the theme song. And I have had this same approach with many other games, like let's say mobile games, you have seasons, like Christmas version, Halloween version, and stuff like that. And if you have a memorable main theme and you can reuse it, then it's easier to adapt the music to different genre. So it's also like a side project. Probably the best example now for me is Next Machina. The soundtrack is streamed on Spotify over 150,000 times. And we're soon releasing, I'm not spoiling it yet, but music video. And vinyl is coming up, so we're really aiming up to ante with the soundtrack. And it has lots of bonus music. I remember like 4 tracks that are not in the game, and it's fan service basically. So let's go with the actual lecture. So design process, this is the most important part of any creative design with the music. And starting early, pretty obvious, of course. And with mobile games, I usually come in when you have an alpha version, you have the characters, you have the world design. They're basically done. And usually mood and genre is defined already. But with console games, Next Machina and Matterfall were both like, I started designing stuff like 2 years before the game was finished. But this is also one of the things that many game companies and teams do not do greatly. And they are not aware and they don't know the mood of the game. And that makes my work super hard. So the closest example for me is Alienation. Great game, and great Metacritic, but I had so much struggling to create the music for the game. So the game didn't have like this awesome story or awesome dialogue. It was really, generic, a bit burger. So it kind of didn't inspire me at all. But then I decided to check out the game's background story, like what's kind of the world it is, and basically the idea that the world is destroyed by the aliens and these are the last survivors. So it kind of had this dramatic tone that I just started working. A bit of Hollywood stuff like Oblivion, M83 kind of feeling. So then I did that, and it worked out well. But it was really close call because it was starting to be end of the project, and the team wanted a different stuff than I imagined. Anyway, but the great stuff is that you should really make a reference list, and Spotify is super great for that. And of course, if you're doing this mood kind of game, you should collect TV series, movies, YouTube stuff that defines the moments, like the highlight moments of your game, what you're aiming for. Is it going to be dark tone, gray tone, happy tone? It's super important for me to understand what the developers are trying to do. So the references is super important. Of course, budget. Usually the budget isn't so great, like you heard from the last lecture, and it's true, unfortunately. But it's getting better, and the appreciation of creating great music for games is just growing. And lots of Hollywood composers are interested and also doing game music right now. But I still would hope for myself, dream project for me would be I would compose music, I had adaptation, arranger for orchestra, and I would have like orchestra with full game. That would be so nice. Usually I do VST, but at least main theme and stuff like that can usually be done with the orchestra. So, and when I usually learn about this, I create the first demo. Usually I start with the main theme because that kind of is the highlight point, and it's usually on the titles. But last games, I actually did main theme last, because with Next Machina, it was like trying to create this synthwave soundtrack, like modern, cool stuff, and I really needed to create the sound first, like all the sounds that I used, and create it for the game. I actually spent 3 months designing the 80s synthwave sounds. So I just didn't have the inspiration to do the main theme. Actually, the main theme, I'm hopefully have time to present you some. That was the last music piece I wrote, and it was like 2 days before the gold build. So pretty happy about that. And of course, when you have done the first version and iterate, lock it down, of course, there can be changes during the game development process that you have to change the tone. Maybe a publisher says that this is shit, make a new one. But usually it's about the overall game experience. So functionality, this is also very important for me to hear in the first time. So is it like background music? What kind of, is there dynamic music involved and stuff like that? Is it like background music or what? And of course, gameplay related to dynamics, it basically means that I need to create music to the tempo the game is built on. So I need to know the gameplay, I need to play the game. It's all about the tempo and dynamics, that how it works. And of course, how much music is needed, this is self-explanatory. But sometimes you don't have budget, so in mobile games, sometimes it's like create this awesome main theme, and the in-game music is more like ambient music and stuff like that. But it usually works great. And implementation and processes, this usually means like PC console games, like is the music implemented through Vice or Fmod and stuff like that? And who's doing the implementation? how it's done. Do we have like new program called Elias, which is like interactive music creation tool. I haven't used it yet, but I've seen the demos from it and seen the lectures. I think that might be the next big thing that comes with the interactive music. And well, of course, you need to think bigger. Like, okay, you need music for the game, yay. But how about thinking much more higher than that? And should we like actually create something memorable, or get the fans in, like doing Reddit stuff, and get the music really out from the game? Of course, like I said, bonus material is actually really helpful. And when I first released like Trine soundtracks, of course I realized that it would be great to have some bonus material in the soundtrack, because I've seen people complaining in the forums that we already bought the game, we should own the soundtrack. Now it's like, okay, soundtrack is like $10, can you afford that? No, I already bought the game. But if the soundtrack has like 1 or 2 extra bonus material, they're like, okay, let's give money to the composer. That's good, not be assholes. And of course, publish the soundtrack everywhere. I still have many games that I've made that soundtrack is still not out because some publisher doesn't think it's profitable or cool. And digital services are great. Spotify is great. Actually, I don't think Spotify is bad for artists. But if you have a publisher that takes the most money from Spotify, of course, then you won't get much anything. But I would do YouTube videos. I would publish the music on YouTube myself and on any kind of bigger media, because every time I don't do it, some other fan does it and he gets like 100,000 of views. So it's a great marketing tool also to say to people, hey, if you like this YouTube track version, here's the details for you to go to the official site, maybe buy the game, maybe buy the LP version and stuff like that. Okay, live gigs. No, well, good example is like today I'm dressed like this because it's going to be a great music concert today. I hope you're coming. I've heard that the band, so to speak, and the arrangement, they're really good. And of course, there's been great arrangers like Jonne Valtonen doing stuff there. And it's gonna be pretty great. Would really recommend you to visit that. But the score from the game, is quite actually important. I've had like Superstars Resogun stuff in Slush 3 years ago, but Superstars Resogun have been played outside Finland also, like different orchestras, because the notation is there. Without that, it's hard to say to someone, please do this for free, because you need to do it properly. It's like 3,000, 5,000 something for 5 minutes of orchestrated music. It's not that bad. And if your game has the kind of music that really would fit to orchestras, you can just start doing the orchestration and offer to these kind of events. Hopefully it will go through. And this is what I like, a song with lyrics. It's like, well, in the movie side, my example is Titanic, of course. My heart will go on. And that song really connected to many people, and there's lots of examples from other movies also that they have this one song that's custom made to the movie, and it becomes this pop hit, some kind of radio hit. And why not in games? Because games connect to a lot of people, and it can be like credit songs, anything, but if it's possible, then go for it. And also music video. I will show you a bit. Let's show a bit of my music video from Next Machina.
between the switch. Everybody's gone away now, and they still won't let me save you. Just for the kicks, fade through the blitz. Everybody's gone away now, and they still won't let me save you. When madness hits and the strongest wins, everybody's gone away now, and they still won't let me save you. Sure hit and miss, burn through the kiss. Everybody's gone away now, and they still won't let me save you. Being blown to bits, just for the kicks. When the madness hits, sure hit and miss.
Very nice. So we're gonna release that next month with the LP. So I think it's a question time. Anyone got some questions?
If you guys have questions, I have the mic.
All right. Give me your best shot.
Come on, guys. I know Finnish people don't ask much questions, but you can do it. You know, Ari, you can do it.
You can even ask me how many drinks I had last night.
Oh, please don't.
Yeah.
How many drinks you had last night? Or this morning?
How many drinks did you not have last night?
I can't remember.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah. Anybody a question? I could ask about. Can you go back in the slides to was it the second or the third slide?
Okay. Was it the functionality or design?
Yeah, this one. Yeah. What do you mean with the lock it down thing? Is it like when you have iterated enough, you need to decide that this is how it's gonna be till the end, or what do you mean with that?
Yeah, I did actually mean that. When you have like iterated and you know the game concept, and of course the game itself, the game design needs to be locked down at some point. Of course, there might be some variations to it, but the bigger feeling, bigger mood design, it's great to lock it down for the game. It's much easier to compose the music after that.
And you talked about starting designing the music 2 years before you said Matterfall.
Metaphor Next Machine, yeah.
Yeah. So at which process do you start already making some kind of samples, or is it more about creating documents or something like this? How is the process in practical?
For Alienation, we did this reference material video stuff that I composed music track for. So it was this internal team kind of mood video with actual music from the game. So it really helped the team to realize the mood of the game, even though we had like pictures in the video and not so much like moving stuff there, but it was overall like a good experience to feel.
Can I ask
Yes.
About so do you focus on making one track that fits the mood, or do you start making several, or when you start going for the final, at which point do you already have several tracks that you start tweaking towards the final product, or do you go along with just something?
Well, it depends on the game process itself. Usually in the beginning of the project we do one song and maybe couple of feelings to it, like this demo video. But after that, I don't usually touch the game a while because the game needs to be done a bit. So before the game is even in the format that you can play it. It's not that easy to create the music because I still don't know the gameplay and speed of the game and mood and stuff like that. But still, the mock-up video with the music really helps the team and myself to create the soundtrack when it's time.
Okay, one more and then we move on.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. How do you feel doing a new kind of a genre you haven't done before, like musically? Is there something to consider when starting a new project?
I actually love when I've presented the project and genre that I haven't done before, because it's a challenge, and I actually love challenges. And for Next Machina, I actually listened, even though I know synthwave, I actually listened synthwave music for at least 3 months, like only basically. So I know my synthwave right now. It would be great to do some new music, but yeah, I listen a lot of the reference music and the genre music and the kind of songs that really could fit to the project. So I learned by listening, basically.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.